And let me tell you, if you got some people like that in your life, they gotta go.
I'ma be happy. I'ma be good. You better believe it. I'ma be happy. I'ma be good. Get that.
What's up, guys? My name is Patricia, also known as God's Design, here on YouTube, and welcome to my channel. So today we're gonna talk about positivity. If this is the first time you're checking out one of my videos, what's up? My name is Patricia and I am a motivation and lifestyle vlogger. Welcome to my reflection series. In this series, we talk about matters of the mind, the body, and the soul. And I'm really excited to bring this one to you guys. And I'm surprised that we haven't talked about positivity before. We've talked about motivation and how to stay motivated. But we really haven't talked about the power of positivity. It's so important. I'm going to talk about it in a few different angles. Aside from the angle that's the most popular right now, and that is positive energy or positivity as it relates to the law of attraction. Now, if this is a concept, the principle, I want to use the word principle, that you subscribe to, then positivity should be really, really important to you. But I'm going to touch on that in just a little bit. So I'm going to start off by talking about the 3 things that positivity does for you as it relates, the 3 things that we tend to talk about in the reflection series, and that is the mind, the body, and the soul. So number 1, positivity affects the body. Research from Johns Hopkins and the Mayo Clinic literally proves that positive thinking reduces stress. And we know that stress is linked to, a whole bunch of diseases or illnesses that, people often, or Americans often suffer with, one being high blood pressure. Not saying that that's the only thing that causes high blood pressure. We all know that is definitely something that contributes to high blood pressure. So literally by increasing your positive thinking, you are decreasing stress, which then will elevate your physical health. So we can draw a conclusion if we take the middleman out, right? It's broad, it's ambitious, but I still think it's true, and that is positively affects your health. And so if anything, because like I mentioned before, if we talk about the law of attraction, people, the whole premise of it is you think positive, you will get the things that you want. But aside from that, aside from material things that we may want to attract in our lives, positivity improves your health. So secondly, positivity affects the mind. It is literally one of the ways that you elevate your consciousness. And when you elevate your consciousness, you perceive things differently. Your reality changes. You literally change the way you perceive the world. You change the glasses in which you view your environment, your reality. And in turn, if you view your reality as more peaceful, if you perceive yourself as happy, if you perceive your world as pleasant, you then in turn change how you feel, your emotion. That's the soul. That's the next one we're going to talk about. We won't go there just yet. For some, this is an active process that has to happen. And in the beginning, it can be really difficult because it is something that has to be purposeful. I mean, with every negative thought, this could happen, but what if this happens? You literally have to kick that thought out of your head and welcome positive thinking, like it's all going to work out, all things work together. Things that you have to literally tell yourself over and over again in your mind so that you can get rid of these negative thoughts. And soon enough, it'll become natural. And the ways that I used to do this in college when I was going through a really difficult time. And I literally used to write on like post-it notes or index cards. Actually, if you guys used to follow me back in the day, those videos are long gone now. When we were on webcam days, there was no fancy camera and lighting and all that stuff. Behind me, you guys used to see in my earlier videos, I used to have biblical scriptures written and just positive quotes written on index cards, and I used to post them on our second room that I guess was our beauty room. When I think about it, is the room that we got dressed in. It used to be on the walls so I can see them all the time. After I graduated college, I switched to what I used to call my playlists of affirmation, my affirmation playlist. And these songs were positive songs, inspirational music. Not all Christian music, actually most of it wasn't, but songs that made me feel good, songs that pumped me up, and I used to listen to them in the morning, you know, that kind of put my mind in that mindset, you know what I mean, of positivity, because all I had, you know, in those days were, you know, negative thoughts, and I was constantly trying to fight those negative thoughts. And so I was very purposeful, right, active mentally about putting those things aside. And, you know, thinking positive literally elevates you. It elevates you above the low frequency, you know, the negativity, you know, that dwells down here. Meditation is actually a really good way to do this, because it's something about the process of emptying out your mind totally. Actually, the first time you do it, makes you really aware how quickly your mind runs, and how many thoughts, just if you're anything like me, how many things run in and out of your mind, and just getting to the point where everything is hushed and you focus in on the sound of your voice, or you focus in on the silence. That's what usually helps me, is focusing in on something, focusing on the silence, and getting there and hushing everything and remaining there for a few moments. And then from there, you build on positive thoughts. And lastly, positivity affects the soul. Positivity is warm. If I could use anything to describe it, it's warm, it's light, and it's enough. It's comforting. It really is. And it not only elevates the mind, but it elevates your soul. It literally picks you up. You ever been like, you know the expression down in the dumps? When you're literally down. And I don't know if you're anything like me, where every emotion I could literally describe it in a physical sense, or a physical process. And down in the dumps is a really good way of describing depression, or low mood, or just negative perspective, you know? It literally feels like you're down. And what positivity does is it lifts you up. And that's why I said it feels light. It's warm. Anything that's like warm to me, and the reason why I use that word warm, because most warm things are comforting, you know, like a hot cup of coffee for me in the morning is very comforting. A warm cup of hot chocolate, at night, just comforting. You know what I mean? Like a warm bowl of chicken noodle soup when you're sick. That's what it is for the soul. Because what worry does and negative thoughts do is it makes you anxious, you know? And when you're anxious from a health perspective, if we go back to the body, you know, your heart is racing, your body is reacting to that anxiety. You decrease the anxiety, you decrease that burden, that weight that you're carrying. You slowly let it go, and you live in high frequency, and you emit you know, positive energy. And in turn, I do believe that you attract it as well. So I'm not going to get too far deep into the law of attraction per se, because I don't really subscribe to all of it per se. Because I think it in essence removes God as sovereign. And because essentially, if you're a believer in the Christian context, you know God can do whatever he wants, however he wants, whenever he wants to do it. But I think there's something to be said, and I'm going to use the most simple example. If I walk into a bank, it's almost closing time, and I want to, let's say, open up an account. Something that's not going to take 2 minutes to do. and I walk up to her with a bad attitude. I'm mad, I had a bad day, and I'm upset, I'm talking to her any kind of way, and compare that experience to someone who walks in the last 2 minutes, walks into a similar situation but has a positive attitude. Who do you think is more likely to have a positive experience? It's the person who walked in with a positive attitude. Positivity literally affects your environment that way. It affects the people around you. But I've said this before in other videos, you really have to be purposeful about preserving it. You know what I mean? Because there will be people that will seek to destroy it and to compromise this environment. And let me tell you, if you got some people like that in your life, they gotta go. And everyone goes through a hard time. Totally understand, and I think you should be there as a friend, as a spouse, as a boyfriend, as a girlfriend. But I think if someone is toxic in your life and is compromising your atmosphere of positivity, then they gotta go. I'm really choosy about who I allow in my inner circle. And I've always been very cautious about who I share my deepest of deepest desires and wishes and goals with, because I don't think not everyone is worthy of that. And not everyone, quite frankly, has your best interest at heart. And so some of these people will have to find out after the fact, you know, and that's just gonna have to be okay in order to preserve, because you don't want someone saying you gonna do what? You gonna do what? I don't, you know, unless you are completely positive this person is coming from a place of love, and it's coming from a place of, you know, I want you to win, and it's coming from a place of criticism from someone who's experienced and who knows the ropes. You know, if you're sure of those things, then fine. But if you can't be sure, and it's really because the person is envious, or maybe they're not envious, maybe they just have a negative outlook on life, you really need to start limiting yourself from interacting with those types of people. Because positivity, like I said, affects your mind, it affects your body, and it affects your soul. And I really want all of you guys who are watching to really reap the benefits of living a more positive life. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, guys. I have so much more to say, but my battery is actually dying and I don't want it to cut out in the middle of it. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Definitely let me know, how does positivity affect your life? Let me know down in the comment section below, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys are well, that you guys are positive and in good spirits whenever it is that this video meets you. Don't forget to subscribe by pressing this button right here, and then I'll leave some other videos for you guys to check out on my channel, and I'll see you guys soon, just a few days, in another video. And as always, God bless.